I'm just talking the fact that you could talk like that and say the buzzwords, and you both can do that, right? And you could read the fucking books on there. I would understand half of the shite that's in there.
You're absolutely
And I'm not saying this a flipping way, shite, but when you abbreviate with some of the words, I'm like, what are you talking about?
No.
So a startup business, most of them won't do it. When you get into second, third year, and they start being around networking, they'll pretend to know what they're talking about. Half of them wouldn't even know. I don't even know how to do a business plan. I've got a fair idea, but I wouldn't be interested in doing one.
I'll say to you that a business plan has got its place. Okay, do you know why we write business plans?
To get an idea of where you're going.
But you know what started a business plan?
Who started it? The banks?
Yes, but you know why?
Because they wanted to take the risk, figure out the risk.
Why?
Because they're lending you money.
What year was this implemented?
Oh, no idea.
Take a guess.
1971. 85.
The year you were born, 1970.
Oh, go take that one. He was born. He's such a old boy. Na, na, na. For anybody tuning into this, or obviously we'll edit this anyway, but because you'll not give them me swearing because I'm very polite. Company size, blown away. Wicus is actually younger than Miguel Mancini.
Can you believe it? Not by much.
And that's not offensive to you, is it?
No. I'm okay. You can only choose to be offended.
Aye.
Friends.
So the wet wipes out there. Get a grip.
So business plan comes from 1933, Great Depression in America, when people were throwing themselves off buildings. The banks lost a ton of money, and what they realized is we don't know enough about the people we're borrowing money to. So we are doing something that's nearly 100 years old. But let me just be frank with you. A business plan doesn't put sales in the cash register or money in the bank.
But you see the other thing, like when they're saying in the books, and you've obviously got a bit of truck with it all, you understand that. See what I don't like? You get everything in the big books, all the fancy words and all these meanings behind it. You go into a big corporate world and they've got the vision on the board, the purpose, shite. They've got 200 people in that building and you're telling me everything going, our purpose is that, our vision is that. Rubbish. That is the top of the tree stuff mentality, and you're lucky if you get down 2 or 3 levels that believe that. And even them, you'll not get all of them, because you get rubbish managers, you get people that are really good at admin work promoted to manager that should have never been a manager, because you get the hierarchy trying to keep people, retain people, but you retain the wrong people. Get them to bugger. Get them to buggery.
Whose fault's that?
Well, the whole structure. Management, because people are too frightened to talk in a business.
And how bad do you think it would be if it wasn't there?
What?
All of that structure.
How bad? Well, you need structure. You need structure like anything. And like, they've got structure for when you wake up. When you wake up in the morning, there's structure everywhere around you.
Johnny's onto something here. He is onto something in a roundabout way.
He's onto a high horse. That's what
I am on my high horse.
He is into
because I hate all this
because
shite here.
You talk about things like you have to have visionary goals and you have to have values. And when you start your business, you actually think this is bullshit. You do start your business. I can talk from experience. You think, why the hell do I need it? It's not for now. It's for 2 or 3 years down the line when you wake up and you go, shit, this thing is bigger and it's got legs. Where am I taking this? What do I want it to stand for? But if you don't start with the end in mind, you're always playing catch up. And if you don't tell people what your business stands for, you know what? You wake up one morning and you come in and you go, this is not what I created. This is not what I want for my business. Because you haven't driven it down. So I agree with you. Large organizations, they have it written against the wall. And people don't believe it. And you know who's at fault? The leadership. Because you're right. Bad managers get promoted into positions they shouldn't be. So it's like taking your best performing salesman and saying, you're going to be the sales manager. But you haven't invested time in him. He doesn't understand what the business stands for. And it's as business.
Do you know when that's all written on the wall? And you can always disagree. I didn't mind people disagreeing with me. Do you know what it's doing? When you see all the words on the wall, when you go to a reception hall, it's just taking space. It's just decorative. Until you get the CEO acting the way he acts, you get the manager, you get the other manager, you get the cleaner, you get the boys in the cafeteria acting like that.
They have to embody it. And that I can't make you do that. You either believe it or you don't.
So this is the whole thing about a business. You're working for that business and you don't like it. You're not getting paid enough. You're not feeling valued enough, even though it says on the fucking wall, We value everybody. You're not getting hurt because you're the wrong manager.
How do you show value? Tell me, how do you show value to employees? Michael, how do you show value to employees? How do you show them you value them?
You want to make more and do more for them than you're worth, and then you'll be worth more.
So if I talk to you about salary increases, what do you think is a fair salary increase?
That's not the right way to do it, though.
No. But just bear me out. I come to work every year. What is the standard wage increases or salary increases?
Is it not like,
Percentage.
is it not like 1.5%?
It's about that. Like it's minimum wage.
It's like 4-5% maybe if you're lucky.
Yeah.
Okay,
As much as that.
if I come and I give more to this business and you give me a 5% salary increase, I'm not going to stay because I'm not buying into it, because what you say you do and what you actually do are two completely different things, and that's why people get disillusioned with large businesses and they start their own thing and they think I'm going to do it differently. And the reason why
I'm
you
going
have
to say something to you, right, because I'm reflecting upon selfishly, I'm reflecting upon myself, and I say I'm going to do a lot of things. And business gets in the way and things get in the way. And that's not an excuse. But it would be really nice for, I'm not saying not everyone, but it'd be nice for people to take a step back and go, what does he do on a day-to-day basis for him? Maybe not to come out that day to see me. Something's happened. What is it he's doing? Is he a bad guy? Is he just letting me down? Because people love a bit of negativity.
Oh, absolutely.
People love to absorb the negativity before actually taking a step back and going, I wonder what's actually happened here. Now, I know that's not their remit. Their job is to turn up, do their thing. But if they've really got the value and they understand the value of where their money comes from, what they've got to do to earn that and to keep the business afloat, right?
Yeah.
They're not funding my pocket, albeit I'll be the one that takes the biggest risk. So should I not get the biggest reward?
Absolutely.
You should.
So it's, you should, but 9 times out of 10, that doesn't really happen in the first 5, 6, 7 years, to be honest with you.
First 7
until
years,
you
no.
harness the right team around you. But it's your job to lead them and then give them all that proposition of the values and what we want to actually achieve. And the value comes from how you treat each other, how you listen to each other, and how you pick each other up when they're feeling down. It's got nothing to do with the job.
Yeah, so I would say to you, when you look at your values, so lots of people want to have values like, let me just tell you, everybody wants to have integrity and honesty, okay? You talk to me about integrity and honesty, those are two what I call bullshit values because they can be faked, okay? Mm-hmm. You can fake integrity, I promise you can, because integrity only shows up when it's you, when it's just you. Do you do the right thing? When nobody else is watching. Because when everybody else is watching, you'll do the right thing. Guaranteed. You'll be honest. Guaranteed. But integrity only comes to show, can you do the right thing when the chips are down? So those two values. But you know what we do is we write values down like integrity, respect, whatever it is. But we don't drive the behavior. What does it mean? Like respect. Easy value, respect. Treat everybody the way you would like to be treated. You don't want your manager to scream at you. Don't scream at your people. Don't get disillusioned with him. But we don't. We don't do that in the beginning.
I was listening to something there earlier on. It was Gordon Strachan, Scotland player, Celtic manager at one point, and he was talking about. Hopefully, I get this right and articulate the right way. Scott Brown, the captain, and he says, "What makes a good captain? Somebody that's willing to go the extra mile." So I think there was the whole video was about a training session, and it was a hard training session, and it was time for some of them to leave, and they'd come back again just to get them a rest. But Scott Brown turned and says, "I'm the fucking captain. I'll just do it." And then the rest of them were like, "Oh, what's going on? He's doing it." I went, "Well, I'll do it then if he's doing it." And the other guy was doing it, "Well, I'll do it." And he ended up getting a full squad doing the training session again. And he says, "That's leadership." He says, he wasn't the best player in the world, but he had good leadership and he had good technique about him, he had good drive about him as a player. And that's maybe the same thing as...
So I'm going to say to you, if you want to watch something, watch Chasing the Sun. Chasing the Sun is a series about South Africa winning the Rugby World Cup the first time. And then they've got one about the second time. And that we beat France by 1 point, we beat New Zealand by 1 point, and we beat England by 1 point. Okay? And they go into the change room, and it's in the final. And one of the guys, because they have a core leadership team, and one of the guys stands up and he says, "Who around this table is scared? Tell me now. Who's not prepared to die here? Tell me now. Because you won't make the second half." And they make a few key substitutions, and they win it by 1 point. 1 point is 1 point. But that's the difference between a good leader and a good manager. Because you know what a good manager does? A good manager goes, no, stop that. Do that. A good leader says, let me help you, let's jump in here, let's change things around.
Aye, you're 100%
We don't
right.
have enough good leaders in businesses. And just because you start a business, okay, I use this example. Wayne Gretzky, National Hockey League player, won 4 Stanley Cups, probably 4 rings. They put him in charge of Phoenix Coyotes. He couldn't win 1 title. He got relegated. And you get a guy like Andy Reid, Kansas City Chiefs, never played a day's football, wins 3 Super Bowl rings. Why? Because just because you're a good player doesn't necessarily make you a good manager. Alex Ferguson, average footballer, great manager. What is the difference? It's those skills that you learn along the way. But where do you go to when you start your business? You can read all these books that we have behind us. You can read them all. And I promise you, I'll show you a book on strategy that won't make any sense. It won't make any sense to you, okay? Because you come out there, what you need to do is you need to sell, get paid so you can pay the bills. But if you don't start working on your business from the start, you'll always be in that spiral. You'll be like a hamster in a wheel or eating soup with a fork. You'll stay very, very busy, but you'll also stay very, very hungry. Mm-hmm. So if you don't do it, you don't have to do it. By no means is having values the mark of a success of a business. By no means, if you don't have a vision, doesn't mean that your business is successful. But there is going to be a time when you're going to have to look back 3-4 years down the line, and you're going to have to look at your business. And that was a hard lesson for us to learn. Because 5 years in, we looked at our business and we sat down in a board meeting, my brother and I, and we said, you know what? We are playing at business. We are playing at business. We're 5 years in. We're making 10%. It's a lifestyle business. Are we serious, or do we just pack it in now? And that was a mindset change for us. Because you can be in business for 4 or 5 years, and you can play at business. You can play at business. You need to be serious about it. And that was a catalyst for growth. It was a catalyst for structure. It was a catalyst for a lot of things in business.
Do you know when you start your business, you have to have these...
Yeah.
Like for me, you're taking on staff, you're training youngsters. You know, all of this is on the back of the culture that you're creating. It's your culture. So these things that are written on the wall, they at one point would have been at that size. And when you're starting to grow, you're going to start to lose the touch of all of that. So you're going to have bad eggs in there. It's a case of weeding them out.
So how do you create a good culture?
Like, it's your culture. So it's like what's inside you that started your business. And there's ways that you know, because you've built from the ground, what works. And how you work is what's working with people in your...
And then you employ 3 people.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where you've got 2 people that are amazing and one's not.
And what do you do with that one?
That has to go.
When do you cut that one?
As soon as possible. Because that one could disrupt the other 2 that are really good, and then you've lost all 3.
You know what we do? We don't do that. Because we're so scared.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with one at the moment where the guy's been with us for 10 years, but he's bad for the business. But we're scared to cut him.
I was terrified when I had to do it.
No,
I was terrified.
Loads. It's not nice, but
it's not nice. I'm not for 1 minute do I advocate it. But if it's not with you, he's against you.
This is down to a mindset thing. So I remember years ago, and it was somebody else that told me this. Imagine somebody going into your pocket, just taking the money out all the time, and then you can't afford to pay for your kids' horse riding or ballet or your boys' football. That is what's happening. He was proper down my throat. He says, get a fucking grip. Your business is for your family. It's for everything you live for. And excuse my French, but it's just authentic. Get a fucking grip. Make the hard decisions. Get them done. Fail like mad. Get back up. Dust yourself off and stop crying. Move forward and keep going. And I'll remember that.
I'll say this to you, just coming back off holiday. When you look at guys that's successful, like you look at Richard Branson and the brand that he's built, okay, when he writes his book, he tells you about the good times and the things that you need to do. Okay, and that's great. And all these strategy books and self-help books and all those books are great. I'm not denying it. But at the end of the day, if you're not doing the basics right, and you have to learn, you don't learn by reading a book. I promise you that. You learn a lot of book knowledge. And you can have a lot of book knowledge. And you can regurgitate things like, a lot of guys read a lot of finance books and they can talk to me about gross profit and they can talk to me about growth. But then I throw in a spanner and say, okay, well, is your growth coming from price or volume? Nobody knows because you haven't been trained in it. So it's about learning. It's about surrounding yourself with a good team and good people to show you what to do. But at the end, Qantas, the CEO, has just paid back $9 million of a bonus. And he paid back the $9 million of a bonus. And the reason why he paid it back is because the buck stops with him. He's taken responsibility. He's taken accountability. That's the mark of a leader. The buck stops with you. It's your business, your problems. You need to take responsibility.
You're right, because if you don't have the right team, it becomes difficult. And as a leader, as many of you out there, you don't know everything. There's a lot of things that I'm absolutely terrible at, and I'm lucky that I've got a really good team.
But that's what you need. Like that's the bit. The important bit is getting people that are actually better at than what you're doing at certain things. For growing your business, because then they'll be more efficient than what you are. They just have to be the right people. Like we had a joiner at one point in one of the workshops I had, and he was one of the best joiners I've seen. Like, he was absolutely amazing, and he was just disrupting everybody. Chinese whispers, getting little things in, whispering in the ears, and getting problems that weren't even there. And then before you know it, his bench is dragged round the corner, working on his own. You know, there was disharmony in the whole place, and this was over a period of 3 weeks. Had to go. Doesn't matter how good he was, and he was good. Had to go.
This is back to what we said in previous episodes. I think we did anyway. The ABC rule: attitude, behaviour, capability. We hire on the attitude and behaviour, just like that. And the C, capability or cancer. Get rid of it, cut it out, zap it. Pff, off you go, jog on, son. And it is, and it sounds really harsh when I'm saying it and I'm listening to myself. Oh God, I'm not that person. It's horrible and really, really quick. But over a period of time in business, you do start getting a bit more less tolerant of nonsense.
It costs you
maybe
money.
It's an age.
That's why everything costs you money.
I think now more so than ever, we've created a culture. I look at my son, recent graduate. Out of his whole class that's graduated, call it 46. Probably about 10 of them have jobs, the rest haven't. And it's not that they're not applying. Okay, I actually can't say, are they applying or they're not applying? Why do people get employed? It's that thing about, I always have this conversation with lots of people is, what's happening out in the world with youngsters today? Do they expect everything to be handed on to you?
Definitely
Do they want to work through it? Do they understand hardship? Do they understand that you cannot just graduate and become the CEO and at the age of 26 earn £500,000?
So who's created that? You're going to get me fired up, but I was just calming down there.
But you know what? As I see, because I don't have kids, but you see parents. There's when I was younger, we got very little. You had to go out and get a job at early doors. I was bagging potatoes for £1 an hour, just to get some pocket money. But now everything's given to you and more. There's no anymore.
So then you go.
So parents, I'll tell you about my kids. They went to what you call independent schools, and at the beginning of every year, I'd sit Brad and Summer down. And they're going to kill me for this, but I'd say to them, this is how much it costs me to keep you at this school. And I don't mind paying for education, but don't take this for granted. Every day that you think that you can skive, by the time I get home, I want X amount on my bedside drawer. Bradley never took a day off school. Never, ever. Never, ever. He was sick. He'll say, phone dad. He'd say that he could, so I had to authorize it. But he left home at the age of 17 to go work on super yachts. Okay.
Aye.
1 year later, we meet up with him. In the space of a year, my boy had turned into a man because he started to understand that dad's not going to fund his lifestyle. And if he doesn't work, he can't pay the rent. If he can't pay the rent, he sleeps on the street. Till today, he's got that work ethic. Okay, and I'll say that to you, it comes from the parents. My wife and I have always had our own businesses. Our kids have always grown up in that environment. Is that do more. The man who does more will eventually get paid for more than what he does. Okay. But we don't live in that. We don't live in that thing. Lots of examples when kids have PlayStations and in a temper tantrum they throw the remote against the wall and it shatters. The parents go, "Oh, shame! Let me go buy you a new one." I never learned consequence, and that's what's happening in business. We start making excuses, and this is hard truth. We start making excuses for people's behaviors. We should go. There's consequences. As a business owner, you're taking the risk. Okay. It is your business. You are providing the opportunity. Why would you tolerate somebody that's dragging your business down? I don't get it. We start making excuses and we go, well, I'll never find somebody as good as him, or it's difficult to find good people. Yeah, get with the program. It is difficult. Your job to go find good people. Don't, if you're a joiner, okay, now it's a more difficult job. He has to have certain technical skills, but I would rather find somebody with the right attitude and behavior that I can train than find a fantastic joiner with the wrong attitude and wrong behavior. And it's difficult. It's difficult. Doesn't matter where you are.
So I think what we've done is we've just come Monday increased the unemployment stats. That's what will happen.
Maybe we're a little bit too. I get passionate about it because I've been on the other side where we've had 101 staff working for us. And it's difficult. It's difficult to me. And that's why you have structure, Johnny, because at 101 people, I can't talk to 101 people.
But
I
what
know,
you're trying
but
to do
this
is
is
you're trying
back
to
to
still it.
what I was going on my high horse about when you opened that book up there and just read a page and I went, all of that on just one page. I went, fuck off.
You can't.
I didn't even understand the language. And I confess to knowing some things about this, but I've got a lot to learn still. But that,
Every day is a learning day.
so me shutting off like that, not reading a book like that,
Does that make you a bad businessman?
I don't think I'm a bad businessman, but it does narrow my mind. Maybe it's because I switch off with things like that. I need things. One of the guys that works with us, he always says, dumb it down. And I love that. And it is, I think I'm no frightened of being the dumbest in the room, but I will ask the questions and I will always give you my authentic self, even though I know I'm losing maybe quarter of the room, right? But I don't mind that. It's just who I am. Even swearing, it's not great to swear, but the passion's there. That's something I need to learn within the right sector. But the truth of the matter is, I work differently than that book, and it works for you, fantastic. But I hate people banging the drum about visions and purposes and everything. I'll tell you, quick story, right? Because I know we've went on about this for too long. I went to a networking meeting. Can I mention it? You'll hate to pay us for it. This is proper advertising. I went to a meeting, and I'm going to actually say to the guy, because I want to give him some kudos. He was from the Heritage. I think there's restaurants all over Edinburgh, and he just came across like a great, great guy. And he harped on about his visions and purposes and all that. And I actually believed him. He's the first person I've actually believed. No disrespect to you.
Why did you believe him?
Because he covered the meaning of it. He covered the meaning of it, and he also explained how it's difficult and that, but it's all about managing and the expectations and how you help you. Now, I know he's panning like mad in business, and they've got over, I think it was 200 staff, 100, 200 staff. So it's difficult, and he is a leader, but he's banging the drum properly, and I felt everything he said, and I had to stand up and say, I've heard these presentations before, and I'm not going to be like you. People are full of pish. But I believe everything you've just said, the way you've came across, is brilliant. And that's the only person so far that I've actually heard it and he meant it. And that's a big, big business.
Yeah, so he's taken the time to write down what a value means. So let's just use the value respect. He's taken the time to say respect. How do I show it in my behavior? I treat everybody the way I would like to be treated. So do I want to be shouted at? No. So if I don't want to be shouted at, I won't shout at my people. That's what you need to do. That's the power of it. Because, Michael, it goes back to your comment about culture. It does go back to it. If you don't define it in the beginning, what it means, what the word means, but the behavior, you'll walk into your business one day and you'll go, this isn't what I created. I hate all my stuff. Guaranteed. And you'll have to replace your whole team. And then it's like pressing the reset button. And that's why I said people play it in business. Business is about making money. Make no mistake about it. Even though there's socialistic elements to it, business is about making money. If you're not in business to make money, you shouldn't be in business. Because why are you in business?
It's true. And when you get the right team, they understand that you need to make a profit. It's not about feeding your big holidays and all these things. They jump too quickly to believing that you're all singing and dancing. No, I'm just having a moment where I've won, but I'm going to lose again because I know that's the trials and tribulations of business. But you're right. But do you explain that to your team? Do we share this content with everybody out there and saying, do you share, is the right thing to do, share all of that with your team? So
I would say, depends on what you share. Communication is key. And in a business, very often when you talk to, the bigger your business grows, because not everybody's involved in every decision. If you don't communicate the important things correctly to your team will think that the left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing. And you know what, if your team's thinking that, I guarantee you that your customers are thinking that. Yeah. Communication is the first big thing. The second big thing that you need to look at is the people. Who have you got in your business? Who's with you? Who's against you? Because your people see, we make allowances. So what they see is they see Joe in the office throwing his toys out of the cot, and nobody addresses that. That nobody stops him and say, that behavior in this company is not tolerated. It goes against our values. So they see, okay, he can get away with it. So you can't discipline me. So come on, then tell our listeners, our viewers there, you don't see anything. You don't see all of that on the day-to-day running of your business. Yeah. How do you find that out?
Well, that's just where you have the right people in place. These are
Right.
the people that are, you've got somebody underneath you that's watching who's underneath them. They've got people on, and it just depends how big it is.
But it's a whole team effort. If everybody's buying in, they need to call him out, because it's that injustice things. Because injustice happens when good people stand by and do nothing. Okay, so let's just say you've got values of respect. That's one of your things. You treat people the way you'd like to be treated. And you're standing in the Primark or the Asda, and you see somebody walk up to an elderly person, and they start mouthing off and they're bad-mouthing him. What do you do? Do you have integrity? Do you step in? 99% of people, you know what they do? They stand back and they look, and they turn around and they turn a blind eye and they walk away.
And do you think that's a generational shift?
That's
now?
a societal, it's with our society, because we're too afraid. People take offense too quickly. And you said the truth, and you can only choose to be offended. It's up to leaders. Leaders stands up for people that cannot stand up for themselves.
So you would say to any prospects, any new business owners, have a bit of strength about you, dignity, integrity, stand up for what's right, stand up. You're doing it. You're doing this business for you, your family, whatever it may be, but do the right thing.
I would say if you don't stand for something, you fall for everything. That's a personal thing.
There's also, like, you have to be aware that people will also, like, they'll work better in certain situations and certain ways that maybe how you're putting things across to them. You might need 10 ways to say the same thing because something will resonate, in a teaching way. Whereas if you've got somebody there that's maybe struggling a bit, they might come across as not being part of the team. Whereas, that's just another wee angle on it. Because they could end up being one of your best people if you just get them going in the right way.
Well, this is coming into leadership when you start understanding, who needs a kick up the backside, who needs a cuddle, who needs to start a little bit later, because there may be paddling like mad with 2-3 kids, or maybe their wife doesn't keep very well. But that's why you need to find out in the interview stages, and then keep up to date with them for maybe every month or something.
I think that.
But yeah, it's a valid point as well.
I'm focused on outcomes. I'll say to you that coming to work at 8 o'clock and leaving at 5 doesn't mean you're productive. I can guarantee you that. Guarantee you that. It's about that thing. It's about having understanding for people and saying, how can I, as the leader of the organization, help you achieve my vision, help you live out my values? Simple conversations. Day conversations. I'd never forget this. There was a new private bank started. And what the CEO did, when it was small, he met with every single person. He got their birthdays, their wife's birthdays, and their kids' birthdays. Okay? And he got his assistant to buy gifts. And as the business grew bigger, he couldn't do it anymore. What he did is he empowered his team down. So he expected them to have a meeting with him to say, how are you doing? Your birthday is coming up. This is my gift. This is the company's gift to you. Your son is having a birthday. This is his gift. Staff churn in that business, 0. They grew it from a small business, massive. But then they changed CEOs. And you know what happened?
Stop that.
And you know what happened?
Staff retention.
Staff retention fell through it. And you know what happened?
Business end up going.
End up going. That's what happens.
So
you're the
it's
leader.
conveying the message of what you want as a leader down to your staff, down to your team, whatever you want to call it, and making sure they understand it all. And I suppose it's having the clear vision, because even some leaders are still. I even say it today. Sometimes I'm playing it being a leader because I'm trying to learn a lot of things. Maybe you feel the same. I don't know.
Every day is a school day.
Mm-hmm. You need to be accountable. We're very accountable because you will make mistakes. That's how you learn. It's just trying not to tuck them under the carpet and just
own the mistakes, and let's take the good days and take the bad days.
You've got to roll with both of them. I think the reason why we're just having this general chat is...
Where did that start from? That was you. It was your fault.
Because a lot of the stuff we talk about, is textbook stuff, You don't have to do it. By no means do I say that your business is going to be successful or not successful. But 3 years in, first 3 years are always the hardest. The next 4 years then start building your business. If your business makes it past 7 years, you've got a very, very good chance of building something successful. But you can't do everything yourself. Okay?
I'm very aware, though, there are people that are very, very thorough. They've got that engineering background. They like to have everything lined up. They have to have everything precise. And there's people that fly by the seat of their pants, winging it. I'm probably both of them.
Middle ground's probably it.
And so when people are taking this context, they have to be aware these are opinions. Yeah. I mean, I've got a strong opinion. You
we're
bring
very
the
passionate.
direction. You're bringing the passion, as in let's calm down. Look at it another way. Calm down, Johnny. Take your pills. But I understand that, and this is why it's good to have a conversation, because this is a conversation.
It's just a conversation to say that what we're saying doesn't mean that your business is not going to be successful.
And if anybody's listening, if we actually decide to hear this one, I think a rule is, bugger it, just air it, and we'll learn we'll be accountable for the mistakes that obviously you used to make.
No. It's about accountability, and I stand by it. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for everything. Everything I've said here, if you choose to be offended, I am sorry that you choose to be offended, okay? But that is the reality. I see it in businesses every day. We make excuses for people's behavior. You know what becomes worse? We make excuses for children's bad behavior. We think that being rude is acceptable. It's not. I'll tell you, my kids, and they're 26 and 21, and I saw it now when we were on holiday. When older people come, and we were on a bus, two older people came, and both my kids stood up and said, here's the seat for you. Okay, you don't get that anymore. I didn't see that. You don't know those people said thank you. So my wife pops up and goes, thank you is the right word to say. Because we don't teach those things. That's a basic value. Please and thank you. They are the magic words. To quote Barney, the purple dinosaur.
Is that right? I didn't know that.
That's where it comes from.
I didn't have a TV when I was younger. I was in that posh, private school,
I had one.
and TV.
That's black and white.
From South Africa. Yup.
Black and white TV, Johnny.
Black and white, eh?
Not colour. Let's not get carried away.
I remember putting £1 in the... Was it £1? £1 in the top of the TV. I remember that one.
It's 50p.
50, 10 bob. I was 50p, then I went to £1.
I know. That's inflation for you.
Inflation for you. I just think that, we talk about all these things, the sales plan and marketing plan, but sometimes we just need to say to guys, you know what? The reality of being in business is hard.
I could have
Choose
wrapped
your
this
heart.
up in a wee phrase, to be honest. And it's
Wrap it.
This is your world, shape it or someone else will.
There we go.
I know.